I found myself looking at the week's calendar and just feeling like there was absolutely no way I was going to get it all done. And that just felt terrible. My children needed me. The house was dirty. The dishes were stacked. And then when I was focusing on home, I always felt this draw to business. There are ways that you can look at your life and start to create systems that are going to support greater success, more free time, more balance, more time with your children, more time at work without feeling guilty about being away from your children.
Hey there, I'm Kaylin Wood, and this is Money Matters for Moms, the show where busy moms turn overwhelm into abundance. Each week we'll talk side hustles, saving hacks, wealth tips, and some energy tips to help make it all stick. Real tools for real financial freedom. No ramen required. I'm talking with Patrice Craig, who's a business strategist. She has a background in retail and talent coaching, but now works with entrepreneurs to help them define and manifest their visions. Patrice, welcome.
Well, thank you for having me.
So glad you're here with us. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself? How did you make the shift between retail and working with entrepreneurs?
The honest truth is, I was like a lot of my clients, a lot of the women that I'm sure will be in the room with us. We had faced COVID and the world was shutting down. And I had worked in retail for a long time. I loved it. I absolutely loved retail, everything about it. I'm one of those weird people. And when we started our family, I chose to stay home for a number of years. And as my family got older, I went back into the workforce and enjoyed it. But with COVID, my family's needs changed and the world was changing, and I had to change again. And so I was working with people and I was trying to find myself, and nothing really fit. And then it was like a light bulb almost. It just felt so natural for me to support other women who were in my same boat, other women who had this driving energy toward building businesses and building out their own lives, but also didn't want to sacrifice time with their children, moments with their children. I was tired of hearing either or. And so Rose Gold Consulting was born.
So you deal with work-life balance, right? I mean, we've all heard of it, but so many people just feel overwhelmed.
It is something that we feel as women. It's something that we feel, I think, across the board as humans. But then additionally, as women, sometimes I found myself looking at the week's calendar and just feeling like there was absolutely no way I was going to get it all done. And that just felt terrible. When I was at work, I was thriving and I loved it and it was great. But then I would come home and my children needed me. The house was dirty. The dishes were stacked. And then when I was focusing on home, I always felt this draw to business. It was like I had to choose, and nobody ever feels good always having to choose one or the other.
So is there such a thing as work-life balance then?
Yes, there absolutely is. I'm living proof that there is absolutely, it is possible. It's not easy. It's not just going to happen. It's not like if you sit on the couch and wait for it, it's going to plop on your lap. Nobody's going to give it to you. And it's one of those things that, people feel like, all right, I created the system and now I have balance and I'm done. It doesn't work like that, unfortunately. I'm here to tell you. It's like, it's one of those things that evolves. I always liken it when people are coming to me and we're having initial conversations. I always liken it to when your children were first born. That newborn stage, it's very cuddly, it's very sweet. We love it so much. There's all of those endorphins and it's working, right? But then they become toddlers and now you're a new kind of parent. And when they become teenagers, that's like a warden. You go from warden, parent to warden. So that's how it works when you're finding balance in your business as well. You're finding balance, you're getting your groove, you've got the foundation set, and then something's going to happen and you're going to have to evolve that system a little bit. But the key is in building that strong foundation, building the systems, and then you can build upon it. So it's not like you're starting from scratch.
Got it. Now, I have a coach who says you got to feel it to heal it. So when you're first starting the process, do you have to really kind of sit in that lay on the sofa, woe is me, sort of.
Yeah, the thing about it is intuition plays a major part into it, and not everybody's journey is the same. So it really is about digging into where you're feeling the most stuck, where you're feeling the ick, and sort of leaning into it, which is a place where most people don't really enjoy being. Rightfully so, right? We're animalistic, we're humans, right? And so it's fight or flight. I'm going to go ahead and run. This doesn't feel right. This is wrong. I'm getting out of here. And so you kind of have to learn to sit in it a little bit and feel it a little bit and try new things. And once you get the hang of it, it starts to feel more normal.
It seems to me like if somebody is already feeling overwhelmed, that they would just find it hard to move, right? So how could they start working towards creating balance when they're in that state?
When you are already feeling overwhelmed, even the simplest actions forward can feel like huge actions. So I always encourage people when they're in that place where it's already sticky, it's already nasty, it's not feeling good. It's about taking those simple actions every single day. And maybe that means you say no to one outside event. Maybe that's all you can do this week, and that's okay. Maybe it's opening yourself up to eating out one night a week. It's not what we all want, but maybe you're just going to give yourself a little bit of leeway in that. Maybe it's saying no to that client that's just not working out. Sometimes it's really about that simple action. Maybe it's the 5-minute walk you take between your lunch and going back to work. So you can sort of play with it and get your body accustomed to the feeling of giving yourself some grace and some leeway without making these major moves. It doesn't always have to be major.
So another catchphrase that people are talking about is mental load. Can you explain that for us?
Yes, we all have a mental load, right? But there's a very negative connotation when people say the word like mental load, your mental load. And I feel like it's gained a lot of popularity in social media these days. But the truth is, we all have it, right? We all have that list of stuff that we have to get done every single day, every week. And a lot of it we love doing, and some of it we don't love so much. So it really is about making those assessments and saying, all right, what is not fueling me? And allowing yourself that space to sort of ease the pressure. I think it's less about the mental load and it's more about the pressure that we place upon ourselves.
That makes sense. So we create ourselves this big laundry list of things that we've got to
Yeah.
do, and then we shame ourselves because we're not getting it all done.
Because, yeah, exactly. It's like that vicious cycle. When we were starting out our family, my mother in law said to me one day, I have the best mother in law. I really do. But she said, honey, she was coming over and she was trying to help. And I would just go right behind her and fix it and go behind her and fix it. And she said, honey, it doesn't help if you're doing it all over again. So do you want me to do it or do you just want to do it yourself? And I thought, oh, yeah, she's kind of right. I have to allow the help, but then I have to allow the help in whatever way it comes. And that's not something that we're very comfortable doing. We want to allow the help, but do the help this way, the way that I like it. You're not relieving anything.
So, with that, one of the key takeaways would be that the way we think things are supposed to be done is not always right, and we can offload some of the things that we don't really want to do.
It really is about finding the things that are not bringing you joy and allowing the space for those things to go to your husband, go to your children, go to those that support your business, and also being open to the fact that maybe they are not getting done the way that you would have gotten them done. But as long as they're getting done and they're getting done effectively, maybe that's enough for now. And then again, we can work on it. We can evolve that system.
Right. So, other than self care and delegating, are there any other tools that people could implement to get rid of that overwhelm and find balance?
Yeah. So, one of the two things that I really think work in tandem are building out your systems, having a really good idea of how things get done from start to finish. And that way you can assess the system and streamline the system, right? And then once it becomes a system, it's easy, one, to hand it off to others, and two, You already know the steps. You can set it up and it works like a machine.
Can you define that a little bit more? What do you mean by that?
So within your business, let's imagine you are a drop shipper, right? As a drop shipper, you know that the order is going to go from placed to out the door, and you want to get it done within the day. So you set it up as a system. So the customer is going to place that order. I am going to print that label. It is going to go into the package. It's going to have this paper. It's going to have this thank you note, and you've got it all laid out for you. It's easier to have it laid out in that system than it is for you to say, okay, well, the order came in. Now I'm going to go to this area over here and I'm going to grab the item. Then I'm going to go over here to this place and I'm going to print the label. Then I'm going to go right across town over here. So when you can lay it out all in one beautiful line, step 1, step 2, step 3, then it's more helpful. It starts to flow. It's something that you could possibly hand off. Let's say you hate it. You hand it off. The same thing could work within your home. I create a system for dinners. I know every single week, these are the meals that we're going to eat. And I write them out. And that way I know, oh, well, today I have a little bit more time. Maybe I'll start one component of this dinner because I already know I'm going to make it tomorrow. And that way I'm allowing myself a little bit more space. I know that the next day is probably going to be a little bit busier and that'll break down my time. So there are ways that you can look at your life and start to create systems that are going to support greater success, more free time, more balance, more time with your children, more time at work without feeling guilty about being away from your children.
Right. And so after you've got those systems in place, then you can decide what pieces of them or what entire systems you want to offload.
Yeah, absolutely. And then secondarily, that works with building out your habits. And your habits really do define how you move through your day. So let's say you would like to build a habit of working out. Well, if you know how your day is going to run because you've built that system out, then it's easy to place that habit in other areas where you can see the gaps. So they sort of work together to build one superpower, which is the woman.
Well, let me ask you one more thing.
Mhm.
If you could only tell women one thing, what would it be?
For my life and for all of my clients, we are done trying to fit in the mold. We're breaking the mold, we're breaking the ceiling. So if I could tell women just one thing, I would say just shoot for the stars. Function as though there is no top, there is no ceiling. We are just going to punch right through it.
Awesome. I love that idea.
That's how we're moving this year. We're done trying to fit into the mold. We're making our own molds.
Patrice, it has been so much fun having you here. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate the time.
Thanks for tuning in to Money Matters for Moms. I hope today's episode left you inspired to take one little step forward. Check out the resources in the show notes and share this with another mom who's ready to thrive. You've got this, because abundance is easier than you might think.